And now to our legal breakdown. The 2020 campaign ended with Attorney General Barr largely backing down. His much-hyped Russia report never came out, despite his now false claims on Fox News that it would arrive by Election Day. Barr also failed to back up his claims about voter fraud by mail, a reminder that just as in the Mueller era, Barr was more about messaging than evidence.
The special counsel found no collusion, did not find any evidence that members of the Trump campaign or anyone associated with the campaign conspired or coordinated with the Russian government.
As far as widespread fraud, we haven't seen that since.
Well, we haven't had the kind of widespread use of mail-in ballots that's being proposed.
Today, Attorney General Barr out with a new memo that tweaks DOJ policy on when voter fraud claims and irregularities can be probed. It tells prosecutors they don't have to wait until elections are certified if there are credible allegations to investigate. The memo doesn't change much, as I'll explain. But the very act of trying to intervene and change the DOJ's election policy at all has Barr under fire. The head of the Elections Crimes Unit resigning in protest over this move and contrasting his own past recognition for integrity on the job to this move in the resignation letter. Now, independent experts are condemning Barr today, and it's certainly striking to see the highest post inside the DOJ's elections unit resigning to object to Barr, to lay down this marker, which also, of course, echoes that Russia probe I mentioned. Recall that a top aide to the DOJ prosecutor leading it also resigned in protest, and roughly 2,000 DOJ veterans from both parties have protested Barr and demand that he resign over repeated political meddling. So, there's a track record here for Bill Barr's ploys. But can any of this new memo change this race's outcome? No. The game's over. Joe Biden is the winner. Donald Trump is the loser. Those are the results of the election. There's not a single case pending in the nation that can change that result, as we've reported. Now, tonight, I get it. Some may ask, okay, Ari, but is the Attorney General now doing something that could create such a case to challenge the outcome? No. And I'm reporting that answer to you drawn from Bill Barr's new memo itself for two reasons. First, this memo states that the DOJ can only start these reviews earlier if there are clear voting irregularities that would change the outcome of a federal election. And Barr emphasizes if irregularities would not change the outcome, then those are still delayed until after the election certification process is complete. Translation: most probes will wait unless there's evidence that could change the entire election result. But as we've known for days from all those big board updates, Joe Biden's victory margins are greater than the number of allegedly challenged ballots in any of these key states. So this memo makes no difference to that. And now finally, to the second reason this doesn't change things. The memo may offer Donald Trump a brief sugar high today of some of the headlines he wants about fraud or investigations, just as Barr did in spinning the Mueller report. But this new Barr memo does not even claim they found any fraud. In fact, Bill Barr, in the new memo, writes the opposite. Now, if you're hearing less about this part of the facts tonight, that may be because Barr knows how to play the media and Twitter and get people salivating over words like fraud. But hasn't the Trump era taught everyone that the full truth does require more than overreacting to a few spicy words on Twitter? Come on, you guys. Let's just go to the actual source. Barr's new memo states the DOJ has not concluded that voting irregularities have impacted the outcome of any election. And he ends the memo with the fair-sounding language that actually we could hear Barr reading to some congressional probe in the future Biden administration, because Barr proclaims that, quote, this is up to the nonpartisan DOJ staff, not to him. He tells the prosecutors, quote, I trust you to exercise great care and judgment. Specious, speculative, fanciful, or far-fetched claims should not be a basis for initiating federal inquiries. Wow. So that just passes the buck to these prosecutors. while discouraging any specious or hyped up voter fraud claims or cases. I mean, when you just look at it, I'm just reading the memo to you. I'm not doing anything special here. You see that despite the tweets or the headlines, this is weaker than weak sauce. This is legally irrelevant. Now, viewers of this program know that we sometimes report the news with some choice rap lyrics. But I got to tell you tonight, Bill Barr's memo is so weak, it is so soft, it does not even merit association with any hard hip-hop lyrics. It's just too soft for that. No, as the Trump administration ends and the Barr era at DOJ ends, you can sum up this final messaging memo from the Attorney General with a point courtesy of Joe Jonas and Demi Lovato. No matter what song you sing, this wouldn't change a thing. No, this wouldn't change a thing. And when even Bill Barr is focused on covering himself more than fighting on for Trump, you know it's really over.
Hey, I'm Ari Melber from MSNBC. You can see more of our videos right here, or better yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel below. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that.